Today I'm sharing my inspiration for the June 2025 sheet load of cards sketched with these 4 fun hello cards. Hey, it's Beth. Welcome. Today I am working on the June 2025 sheet load of cards from Call Me Crafty Owl, and I'll be using the Succulent collection from the Not Too Shabby shop. The sheetload of cards, if you're new, is a PDF that Call Me Crafty Owl puts out every month, and it includes a card sketch and then a supply list and cutting guide to help you get all of the pieces you need to make a set number of cards. This month it makes 4 cards, and that's because it's a special edition for 5x7 cards. And something else special about it is that it was inspired by Biddy Penny, who is one of our creative team members. There will be a playlist linked in the description box below that you can click on and see all of the creative team members work on this month's sheet load, and it's just a lot of great inspiration on how to use the sketch. Everybody takes a little bit different twist with it. So I have my pieces already cut and am just working on assembly. I like to put together like the first card anytime I'm doing batch card making like this. I like to put together the first card kind of on its own, and then we'll work through the rest of them in more of an assembly line fashion. I just kind of want to see how things go together and line up and all that, so then that way I can kind of work quickly through the rest of them once I know how it's all going to go. I picked out some ephemera pieces from the collection, and then I used the Hello die from the Card Cut Essentials die set number 1, and used that along with the excess of that like tan cardstock that I cut the matting rectangle piece for this center rectangle element from. There was a good amount of scrap left to the side after I cut the 4 rectangles, and so I just used the Hello die and cut out my sentiment from the rest, like the other side of that paper. I just decided I wanted, since it was kind of like a bigger focal point, I wanted to take advantage of being able to use a bigger sentiment, and so I brought in the Hello. Once I got this put together, that top right corner, there's a little bit of white space, and it just kind of felt unbalanced to me. So there were tiny little scrap strips that were left over from, you know, when we cut down all of the pieces. And so I decided to take one of those, cut it in half, and then I'm going to, because my pattern was oriented, like the way it was oriented, I just kind of used it sideways, like horizontal, and cut a tiny little fishtail out of it and then added it up there, and I liked how that came out. That seemed to balance it well for me. I mean, there's not a ton of white space there, so I don't know if it was the white space that was bothering me or if it just kind of felt unbalanced because of the succulent plant on the left hand side. So anyway, now that my first card is complete, I can kind of look through the rest of these in the assembly line fashion that I mentioned. I'm using the lines on my grid mat to help me line up these small pieces here on the left and right that look like you have strips going all the way across, but really you're just piecing together those squares that were on the cutting guide. Also in the description box below, there'll be a link to Alicia's video to find out how you can get this month's sheet load. And she does ask that you be a subscriber to her channel, and then the sheet load is free to you. If you love what she does and would love to support her more, she does have some paid membership levels, and you do get additional perks such as archive sheet loads and a lot of other great perks. So that's something you can check out as well. But you can at least watch her video in the description below and find out how you can get this month's PDF. This set of 4 came together pretty quickly, actually. I think total it was probably about 30 minutes. My camera time before I sped anything up was 20 minutes, and that didn't include me cutting down the paper, so I'm gonna be generous and add another 10 minutes to that, but I'm sure it didn't really take that long. So this goes together pretty quickly, and I love how these cards turn out. I don't normally make 5x7, but I do love how this particular layout looks. Bitty Penny is known for her 5x7 cards, so if you're going to take a sketch that's inspired by her, you have to make it 5x7 to make it a truly Bitty Penny style card. And I think I stayed pretty true to the sketch, other than that little banner that I add in the top right of this rectangle piece. That's the only thing I think I changed on the sketch. So one of those rare times where I didn't really have to make many adjustments to make it work for the supplies, and like the supplies I have were what I needed the cards for. So that was kind of nice. I think that kind of helped too. I didn't have to really think about anything else. That's what makes the SheetLoad so nice, is that it's such a quick and easy way to make a batch of cards, whether or not you're donating, selling, making them for yourself or for gifts. It's a great way to kind of build up your stash, and you know, you can change up the sentiments. You don't have to use the same sentiment on every card, so you can still make them a little bit different, and a lot of times how you combine the papers make them look different as well. Adding on those little fishtail banners, I actually contemplated like maybe bringing in some enamel dots or something, but I saw those scraps and I thought, no, I'm going to go ahead and use up those scraps instead. So I'm glad I did, because it stayed truer to the colors of the rest of the card. But then once I get these on, my 4 cards are done. And like I said, quick and easy, such a fun SheetLoad. I really like how these turned out. Here's a final look. Again, be sure to check out the links in the description box below. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you all have a very crafty day.